In the last episode on this series, I successfully made a wrought iron barrel, welded out of 2 shorter forge welded barrels to become 1 longer barrel. And this excites me so much, this journey of rediscovering the techniques of barrel making. And I'm all the more excited because today we are getting stuck in moving forwards on actually making Damascus barrels. But I've learned a thing or two from making this. I need to make some more tools so that it goes as smoothly as possible. First on the list, I need to make a smaller forge. While I've been practicing, I have even made this forge smaller by putting a brick in it, and making it almost half the size, but it's way too long for me.
That's what she said.
Making these barrels requires really short heats. Heating up too much means that we oxidize way more than we need to, making the welding that much harder, because the bits that haven't yet been welded are getting way too hot. So I want to make a really, really tiny but really hot mini welding forge. And here are our ingredients. We have a burner from Gamaco Supplies in Australia. I've got a bunch of bricks, and somehow I want to make like a 1/2 or 2/3 long welding forge with an internal volume that kind of looks like that. This is going to be a game of blacksmith Tetris. All right, check this out. These white bricks are soft. These are insulating fire bricks. Super easy to cut down, but very fragile. I need to get this burner end somehow installed through one of these bricks. I was thinking that the roof would be made out of one of these, but then it leaves very little supporting material. What if I have the burner going sideways instead? Does that then give me a more structurally sound setup? I think it bloody well might, Jamie.
Nice, fits really well. Ah! That cut through a little quicker than I thought.
How is that so different? I left way too much clearance. That's more like it. Got the settings better that time, eh?
Please put your hands on the wall.
Yeah, baby! Clean these puppies up, find out if they actually fit together. Well, golly, slap me in the ass and call me an engineer.
It fits. Unbelievable.
You see if the shear can cut this. 3, 2, 1. Mate, I'm so glad I bought this stand, and I'm so glad I remembered I had it. She's heavy. Ha! Not too shabby. Very quickly noticed a flaw in my design. It's very warped. The steel is all warped all over the place. I thought I could get away with 3mm or 1/8" thick steel for the body of this forge. Doesn't look like that was the right idea. This one here looks to be made out of 6mm or 1/4" steel, so twice as thick. Immediate observation, I should have made the box from thicker steel. We're gonna see if we can get that little bar up to forge welding temperature. I noticed something else I did better on the other forge. I made the top separate to the bottom, which means that this whole thing can expand and contract and expand and contract without warping so much because it's not connected to that. And around here, forgot about this, I have the bottom of the forge extend a good couple inches out before it meets the steel table in front. Whereas here, I've got the steel table in front right there. I mean, that thing's gonna rot away in no time. I think it gets hot enough. I'd blooming hope so with how much smaller it is. Bloody hell. Yeah, some flaws with the design there, aren't there, Mr. Popple? Look at that, I've melted the side of the forge. That's a puddle of molten steel here. When we had the Alec Steele Co. and we were selling blacksmithing tools and things like that, one of my big dreams was to make a forge that we could sell at an affordable price that didn't include ceramic blanket or KO wool on it. So I really like that we were able to put this together with fire bricks, because that was one of the things I had in mind. Never got around to it, and I've definitely shown myself it would have needed some iteration.
Could you not cut it apart and put thicker sheets on the front and back?
You know, I could easily make it out of thicker steel. Thicker steel would solve some of the problems. I do think, though, I should borrow some of the lessons I learned here and make the base much wider and longer. Have the top separate. Can I keep it made out of fabrics, if that's the case, though? Just found a steel supplier to order some thicker steel, and I'm gonna let this cool down because I actually have something I want to iterate on this model before we even go to the thicker steel model. But it's too hot to mess with, and there is something I need to do here. If you have a look in here, Jamie, you're gonna see this right here, that is not part of the design. That is coming up on 10 years of use, that ceiling right there. But this should hopefully be the stuff to fix it. Refractory putty. You've heard of Play-Doh. This is now
Refracto.
ooh, much better than what I would have come up with, Jamie. Yummy! I've changed the bricks often, but this is a cast medium density refractory ceiling, so it's a little bit more insulating than the floor.
Man, this looks disgusting.
Well, it is kind of disgusting, isn't it? The flux attacks the floor, so when you flux a billet, it drips off, and that flux is, I think it's like acidic. It attacks it at those high temperatures. It looks like mud from the beach. That's awesome. That looks vaguely professional. It's a new week, and this is what I just whacked up together last night. This is a 6mm thick tab and slotted together contraption. Wah! And the steel supplier has very kindly dropped off this incredible piece of cardboard.
Well, surely that's just gonna burn.
Oh no, the cardboard is on top of all the steel. So there's all these tabs and slots, and I want to make sure that the allowances for the plasma cut, as well as the relief for the inside radius on the corner of the plasma arc, is all good. So we've got a little test piece to make. Well, pretty much does look like we've got our offsets correct. No, I need a little bit more of an offset. See, it doesn't quite want to sit this face flush to that edge because this little radius in the corner isn't enough. Bigger radius will fix that. We have put this thing through its paces. Again, I love my Extreme Plasma table. So grateful that they put this thing in our workshop. Because look at this monumental stack of parts she just made. Oh! We play a game of industrial jigsaw. Get in, Felicity. Oh!
I thought you said that this was gonna be a small forge.
Yes, I've done like the dollar and I've inflated. Hallelujah. It's stuck, Jamie. It won't come out. Oh no! That explains it. Jamie, come on. It only took me 10 years, but I'm finally now being able to do stuff with CAD.
Wow, isn't that snazzy?
Woohoo! Woo-hoo-hoo! She's a scorcher. Proof of the pudding is going to be when it comes to some barrel welding, really, isn't it, Jamie? So the next step is going to be forging the new mandrels that we need for our Damascus barrels. But I want to quickly talk about the red elephant in the room. Look at this beautiful thing. You might have spotted it in the last episode. Well, the story goes like this. This fella here, our Norton 25-ton press, I've been feeling it's a little bit weak over the last year or so.
Oh, great. Yeah, that forges really well. Jamie, I need a bloody bigger hydraulic press. That thing did nothing.
I wanted something bigger, and the new Red Beast is what I found on eBay. It is a high-ton Machine Tools 50-ton hydraulic press made in Birmingham, England, and it should be much stronger than our blue one. The moment of truth. Well, let's hope I don't die.
Yay! What's the matter?
Jamie, I just almost did a murder. I'm proud to announce that the other day, I finally did it. I got you back, Jamie. At last! But it turns out that it's not just Jamie and I that play silly pranks in the workplace. Look at this! While the Prime Minister was speaking in the House of Commons, somebody had taped a phone underneath the table to play noises when it rang.
Gosh, it's just so childish and so brilliant.
Now, I found out about it thanks to Ground News. It is the news app that I use. And what's super interesting is on the bias comparison, we can see the left-leaning outlets frame the hidden phone as a major security breach. Right-leaning coverage often downplays the event as a mischievous prank. And it's also been getting way more coverage on the left than the right. Ground News is a website and mobile app that has changed the way that I consume news, and it provides me really interesting insights. When Ground News sends me a notification and it pops up on my watch, I'm always learning something interesting that's going on in the world that is relevant to me. Their blind spot feed is also really helpful for hoping to show you things that you might otherwise not have seen, or articles that are getting coverage predominantly from one side or the other. And Ground News does a great job of making sure that their summaries of the articles are neutral, balanced, and really efficient to consume. I love Ground News. I think it's a fantastic product, and I hope that you get 40% off their Vantage plan. Same plan I use. It gives you access to all their features by going to ground.news/Alec, or scan the QR code and get yourself 40% off their Vantage plan. Thank you to Ground News for sponsoring the episode. Let's get back to testing the press.
Oh, there we go.
Ta-da! All right, let's see what happens when you put something in it. Whoa! Do you see that?
No, I was looking at the dial.
That's so pretty! That's so cool!
That's amazing.
I love it! Old press! Yes! That's what we want! New press! Whoa! Beautiful! We have a stronger press. I'm chuffed to bits with this thing. I used it also on a collaboration video with a climbing channel, Josh Rundle, so stay tuned to his channel to see us use this to make some really cool bits of squished steel to climb on. And with that, back to the topic at hand, which is mandrel making. We've had quite short mandrels, because we've been making quite short tubes. We're going to need longer mandrels, and we're also going to need a wrapping mandrel. So I'm going to look back at our video reacting to the Belgian Liège Damascus barrel making, see what tools they had so that we can recreate them.
Bro, look at this on the camera. Look at the colours.
Damn, that is crazy. So that is a little dog to just support the bar. That just goes on the anvil. And then another tool with a little tooth that comes out and grips the beginning of the bar, and a handle over here to enable you to spin and twist the bar. Their mandrel looks to be about 16 millimeters in diameter. Cut off about 36 inches, maybe a little bit more. I'm gonna light the forge, and we're gonna taper this down nice and smooth, get a little extra length out of it before we do the actual twisting assemblies back here. It's got about a 1 millimeter taper forged in, and now in the fire, I've got a bar of 12 millimeter EN24 or 4340 for us to make a longer forging mandrel out of. Longer version of this with a little less taper and better steel. Just dulled my center punch, mate. Yeah, that's the benefit of EN24. It's kind of air hardening. What do you say? Is this a crime punishable by death? I think they call this rage bait, Jamie. Yeah. That goes on there, that goes in here, and that is hopefully one component that we need done. Minus a little bit of weld, it might need a little bit of weld. So with our twisting mandrel organized, I need to put the handle, the release mechanism, on our long forging mandrel. Then I need to make our little grabber, our dog that allows the flat bar to be fed in and kept there. And I think what I'm going to do is take a bit of 1-inch square bar, form it into a U right here, drive a wedge in to hold it firm, and that should do the job. Question is, will Might be some sort of a design flaw there. Will that work? I find it hard to look at those few frames from that video and really know what I'm making or the sizes of it. So we're just gonna have to, right, start version A, try it, see how it works. So I'm gonna get some flat bar off the rack. It'll need to be tapered ever so slightly in both directions because this is something that we saw in that Belgian video of barrel making, but it also needs to be that way because an actual barrel would want to be thicker towards the breech than it would towards the end of it, the muzzle. So we need something that's tapered ever so slightly in both directions, and then we can test wrap it, and then, if that works, we can begin with our Damascus. Oh, wow! Let's kind of start having a little look-see. We're gonna heat this up, stick that there, then we'll start twisting around. Looks like a nightmare already. I'm gonna stop this bar from falling out. So you're gonna be the helper's role, right? I'm gonna be this guy. We slot the material into the dog, and then I start twisting. You help kind of feeding it in. Okie doke. Are you ready? Thanks, sir. Slip that in, and then I start. Wow. Yeah.
It's not in the dog now.
Yeah, well, let's just get that started, and then start pulling that way. Good, yeah, get it under there, then start pulling that way. Yeah, man. Damn, that's really, it needs a hell of an angle on it, doesn't it? Interesting. Okay, so like, you know when you make a screw, it has an angle to the threads? I think we need to think more about that angle as we do the beginning of the coiling. Yeah, I think we need to slip it in at an angle. You know what else? I think their bar is much narrower. I'm gonna straighten this out, and we're gonna take 5 millimeters, about 3/16 of an inch off the width. That's gonna look more like what they've got. Take two. This time, let's get a nice big starting angle on it. Are you ready? Here we go. Yeah, and then line it up, little to me. Bro, you've got to be kidding me, it's happening. Dude! That's happening!
It's gonna be next to impossible to get it back on.
Okay, take two. On theirs, they kept it on the mandrel and they were in a coke fire, so that was possible. On ours, not so much. Oh. Yeah, you see what we got to do. I think that dog could do with being lower down.
It's too tall.
Yeah. Yeah, the dog needs to be way lower.
It's really interesting because obviously when you're wrapping something, the inside of the flat bar is compressing, the outside is stretching.
What that means is that we have this gap as it's wrapped. See that gap there? That's because the material on the outside of the flat bar is stretching, and so it's getting narrower. Whereas on the inside of the flat bar, it's compressing and it's getting wider. I wonder if that then could cause an issue in the welding. There's then that much more material to move before you can close up these seams. And I wonder therefore if one should have a preform on this flat bar doing the opposite of this. If we form that bar into a parallelogram, as we wrap it, this being the outside face, it will shrink in. The inner face will spread out, turning it into a rectangle again, hopefully then butting up nicely with the other rectangles on our spiral. Let's get this dog out. Oriented, instead of the wedge on the underneath, I'm gonna put the wedge above it. See if that's a little bit lower. Are you ready? Whoa. Oh my God. Jamie, you just gotta chill, bro. Hit. Yes! Come on! That is better. Yeah, boy. Not as quick as the Belgians, are we, Jamie? Push to me, push to me, push to me. There. Oh, dude. Yes! Tell me that doesn't seem a lot more like it. Come on. That looks so good. We can definitely make it neater. Look at it, Jamie. Yes! That's what it's meant to look like. That's it. Right. The tooling basically works. This dog needs to be a little bit longer, but the height that it's currently at works a treat, actually. So we'll weld a little bit onto the dog to make it longer. Grind a little bit off this face here so it can accommodate thicker material. And then I think I need to do some research here, so I'm going to do some more looking at the examples that we can find. But I think a preform on this flat bar to stop it becoming a trapezium, so opposite trapeziuming it, could mean that we get a way better fit up. Now, there is a slight thought that I have that doing this allows, as you hammer, the scale to kind of fall out. But I'm not inclined to really put much weight to that thought. But I'm going to do a little bit of looking. I'd love to hear your feedback down below. Interestingly, 36 inches of flat bar turns into only 10.5 inches or 26 centimeters. And all that thinking just makes me hungry for pie. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure to go check out Ground News at the link down below. We love it and we really appreciate them sponsoring us. I think we're going to be able to forge up some Damascus in the next episode. See you then. Bye-bye.